General Hospital spoilers. Danny and Rocco find Drew floating in the water, victim of deadly attack. The waters of Port Charles have held many secrets over the decades, but few as chilling as the one about to be uncovered. In an upcoming General Hospital storyline, two young boys, Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri, will stumble upon a discovery that could change everything for their families and for the town itself. The shocking image of Drew Kane floating in the water will set off a whirlwind of grief, suspicion, and shocking revelations. But was Drew's apparent death the result of a deadly attack, or is there more to the mystery than meets the eye? In this in-depth spoilers breakdown, we'll explore every angle of this shocking storyline, unpack the emotional fallout for Danny, Sam, and Scout, and speculate on who might be responsible for Drew's fate. Strap in. This story promises betrayal, heartbreak, and a potential twist that no one will see coming. Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri were supposed to enjoy an ordinary afternoon. The boys, both grappling with the weight of their parents' complicated lives, had found solace in their growing friendship. On this particular day, their carefree banter about school and family quickly turned into something they'd never forget. While skipping stones and racing along the edge of the harbor, Danny spotted something unusual in the water. At first, it looked like driftwood or discarded clothing. But as the tide shifted and the light hit the surface, a chilling truth emerged. "Rocco, I think that's a person," Danny whispered, his voice shaking. Together, the boys scrambled closer, and what they saw made their blood run cold. Drew Kane, war hero, father, brother, and pillar of strength, was floating face down, motionless. The boys' screams for help echoed across the docks, drawing in bystanders and eventually the authorities. Within minutes, chaos erupted as EMTs rushed to pull Drew from the water. But the question on everyone's mind was immediate. How did he get there? The news of Drew's discovery spread like wildfire. For Sam McCall, the moment was like déjà vu, a horrifying reminder of how fragile life in Port Charles could be. Scout, Drew's young daughter, would soon have to face the unbearable possibility that her father might be gone forever. Jason Morgan, still grappling with his own complicated role as both Danny's father and Drew's twin brother, stood at the center of the storm. Their fractured relationship had never fully healed, but Jason couldn't help the wave of guilt that struck him upon hearing the news. "If Drew's really gone, I should have been there. I should have stopped this," Jason muttered, his stone-cold mask beginning to crack. Meanwhile, Monica Quartermain, who had already suffered the loss of countless loved ones, was dealt yet another devastating blow. Her house, once filled with laughter and family dinners, was again filled with whispered fears and unanswered questions. As Drew's body was examined, disturbing details began to emerge. Scrapes on his arms suggested a struggle. Bruises around his torso hinted at a violent encounter before he hit the water. The PCPD, led by Dante Falconeri and Jordan Ashford, immediately launched an investigation. Speculation mounted in every corner of Port Charles. Had Drew been targeted because of his business dealings at Aurora Media? Or was this connected to his military past and the enemies he made during covert missions? Some whispers even pointed toward Brennan, the ruthless villain whose grip on Port Charles had been growing tighter. Could Drew have uncovered one of Brennan's secrets and paid the ultimate price? For Danny, finding Drew wasn't just a shocking event, it was deeply personal. Though Jason had been absent for much of his life, Drew had stepped into a fatherly role for Danny on more than one occasion. He had been the steady hand, the mentor, the man Danny could look up to. Now, the boy was left questioning why the people he loved always seemed to be ripped away. His words at the hospital waiting room pierced everyone's hearts. "Why does this always happen to us? First Dad, then Uncle Franco, and now Drew? How many more people do we have to lose?" Sam, torn between comforting her son and holding herself together, struggled to find answers. Scout's innocent questions only deepened her agony. The Quartermains have long been plagued by tragedy, and Drew's possible death added another chapter to their painful legacy. Ned, Brooklyn, and Olivia gathered at the mansion, trying to process what this meant for the family. Tracy, ever the pragmatist, was quick to raise suspicions. This wasn't an accident. Someone wanted Drew out of the way, and we need to find out who. Her words sparked heated debates about whether Drew had been silenced because of Aurora Media's growing power in the corporate world. Could rivals, perhaps even Valentine Cassadine, be involved? Rocco's role in the discovery also weighed heavily on Dante. As both a detective and a father, Dante was torn between duty and protecting his son from trauma. Rocco was shaken, plagued by nightmares of Drew floating lifeless in the water. Dante's investigation into Drew's possible murder put him in direct conflict with Jordan and Robert Scorpio, as his emotions blurred the line between detective and grieving family friend. "This isn't just another case," Dante insisted. "This is personal, and I won't rest until I find out who did this." As the days unfolded, several suspects began to emerge. Brennan, his vendetta against Port Charles, made him the prime suspect. If Drew had gotten too close to the truth, eliminating him would have been strategic. Valentine Cassadine, with Aurora Media becoming a threat to Yelku and Valentine's corporate interests, his motives couldn't be ignored. Cyrus Renaud, the mobster, though quieter lately, had a history of making people disappear. Could Drew have been his latest target? An inside betrayal. Some speculated that Drew may have been betrayed by someone close to him, perhaps even a quartermain, in a bid for control of the family fortune. If Drew's death is confirmed, General Hospital will stage one of its most emotional funerals in years. Characters from all corners of the canvas would gather to mourn the man who had touched so many lives. Sam's eulogy would no doubt be heart-wrenching, recalling the moments they shared and the love they once had. Scout, too young to fully grasp the permanence of death, might deliver a simple but devastating statement. "I'll miss my daddy forever." Jason, known for his stoicism, might finally break down publicly, honoring the brother he never fully got to reconcile with. The Quartermains, once again draped in black, would wonder how many more times they could endure this cycle of loss. But in true GH fashion, there's always a chance that what we see isn't what it seems. Could Drew's death be part of a larger scheme? Was he forced into hiding to protect his family, leaving only the illusion of his murder behind? Another theory suggests that Drew may have been brainwashed again, his disappearance orchestrated by forces unknown. If that's the case, then his reemergence months later could ignite explosive drama. Regardless of whether Drew is truly gone or presumed dead, the ripple effects of this storyline will be massive. Sam and Jason, will this tragedy push them closer together as they rally around Danny and Scout? Monica and the Quartermains, yet another devastating loss could shatter the family's unity, or unite them stronger than ever against outside threats. Corporate fallout. Aurora Media's future hangs in the balance, opening the door for hostile takeovers and rival power plays. Danny and Rocco, their traumatic discovery may shape their teenage years, driving them down darker, more complicated paths. General Hospital is no stranger to heartbreak, but the storyline of Danny and Rocco finding Drew's body in the water promises to be one of the most emotional and suspenseful arcs in recent years. Whether Drew truly fell victim to a deadly attack or whether there's a shocking twist ahead, one thing is certain: Port Charles will never be the same again. As fans brace themselves for the fallout, questions linger. Who wanted Drew gone? Can Danny and Scout recover from losing yet another father figure? And perhaps most chilling of all, if Drew was murdered, is the killer still lurking in the shadows of Port Charles? The answers are coming, and they will shake the very foundation of the show.